Dear ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to say a few words about what's going on in France, à la belle France. And also I would like to say a few words about how the French events are going to influence you. Yes, you. And me, of course, as well. Quite honestly, I don't want to talk about that. You know why? Because most likely it's absolutely useless. It's a waste of time and I have other things to do. But on the other hand, as a historian and political scientist, and as a former instructor, I cannot be silent. So, a few words about the violent riots in France. The riots that someone can define as peaceful protests. Some of the commentators and journalists will tell you, well, street protests and riots are part and parcel of the French culture. And you know what? Those who are saying that are either ignorant idiots, sorry my language, or just scoundrels. Scoundrels who are deliberately lying to you. Why so? Why am I saying that? Yes, indeed, street protests are really an element of French culture. On the other hand, throughout the history of France, those riots and protests were never accompanied by mass destruction of property, murders of random passerbys, chopping off people's hands who tried to protect their property, etc., etc., raping women, by the way. No, that kind of street protests have nothing to do with French tradition, with traditional French protests. Well. Had we lived in a free society with freedom of speech, I could have said a few words about who those protesters are. I could have said that it's absolutely evident that most of them were born outside of France or came from the families that were born and raised outside of France. I could have said that if we had freedom of speech. It doesn't mean that I would have said that, but I could have. But as we do not live in a free society, I am not saying that, and I never said that, and it would never cross my mind to say that. But I will say another thing. Those protests have nothing to do with the social issues. Absolutely nothing. Just like the protests that took place in the United States of America prior to the recent presidential elections. You know, those protests, peaceful protests, organized by a three-letter group. I cannot mention it on YouTube, right? You know what I'm talking about. So, what do those peaceful protests signal? They are signaling the destruction of once prosperous and developed nation states. In the United States of America, in France, in Germany, and in you name it. Really, where are French police forces? Where are the gendarmes? Where are the French armed forces? Those famous paras, les parachutistes. They don't exist. It seems like they don't exist. What is President Macron doing? Did he declare a state of emergency? No. The same was going on in the United States a few years ago. By the way, Donald Trump was still a president over there. Did he do anything to put the situation under control? No. Again, let me repeat, that means that French state is crumbling and falling apart. In fact, it means that there is no France as a state anymore. Just like there are no United States of America as a state, as a functional state. You know, in functional states, members of parliament are not afraid for their lives. And judges are not threatened by the mob. If that happens, it means that the state is gone. By the way, that happens not only in the developed European countries or countries of European descent. East of Europe, in the so-called Russian Federation, the recent events that attempted coup d'etat has all proven that there is no Russian state either. What does that mean? That means chaos. A well-organized chaos, by the way. And what will be the result? Well, had I been a magician, I would have said, "Well, crystal ball, tell me what's going to happen." I'm not a magician, and I don't need crystal ball to answer that question. I'm a historian, and that's enough. After that controlled chaos, some mighty forces, transnational forces, will come out and tell you, "We are going to restore law and order. And we have to do it on a global scale." And they will restore law and order, and you will applaud. The only question is, will you like the law and order that those powers are going to bring you? I highly doubt that. Well, now you believe, of course, that it's all none of your business. You are busy with playing computer games, smoking pot, and planning your career or thinking how to pay your mortgage. However, you are mistaken. They will come after you. They will come after your kids. They will come after your property. And you will have neither the property you are paying your mortgage for, nor a career. And there will be lots of other things you will have to do that you don't want to do at the moment. Well, if you're okay with that, if you are okay with the world turning into one global North Korea or worse, that's fine with me. I'm an old man, I'm not going to live in your bright future. However, if you're not okay with that, you may ask me what to do. Who am I to tell you what to do? You decide it yourself. What I could recommend, though, is that you start thinking and talking to your friends, talking to the members of your family, and just discuss this issue. Well, I don't believe that we live in a democratic society, but most of you do believe that. And what does democracy mean? Democracy means free discussion. So go ahead and get involved in free discussion, at least in your kitchen, or in your dining room, or in your living room. And while discussing the issue with your close friends and your family, you may slowly but surely come to the right decisions. That's all I can recommend. And that's all I wanted to say right now. Have a lovely one and enjoy your life as long as you can. Bye-bye.